It's like 8 million degrees out. I'm tired of wearing tank tops and shorts. While other projects are on hold, we're gonna work on a helmet. This is the Cyclone helmet from Robotech. It's also MOSPEADA Genesis Climber. But it's a super cool helmet and I absolutely love it. This version has a couple problems. My visor is too flat. So I'm going to have to carve. This is a prototype. This isn't the... I always do this. I go, yeah, and I print, and then I'm unhappy with it. But I have to have it in my hand before I realize what I'm unhappy about. So this is going to be my prototype. Still going to finish it so I can work through all the kinks and make sure everything is how I want it to be. But that's what we're doing today. We're going to start by sanding just everything. I mean, this thing, it's not bad. Still a little fasted, but I think it's okay. The visor's perfect. Because on that one I stopped doing, hey, let's subdivide one more time. And then, you know, it's going to have very little sanding, except for the front. Had to print it a couple of times. First time, just printing all nice and fine. A layer shift. The whole thing just kind of went, actually it was this way. It is what it is. The next step, sand. Bulk of the sanding's done, right? There's a lot of spots that under extruded that are going to be kind of brutal to fill in. But as a helmet, it would be a complete failure. I would probably just scrap it and start over. As a art piece, it's perfect. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Next step is to coat it in glazing putty and then sand. And glazing putty, sand, glazing putty, sand. That's the dance we're at right now. I've already done a couple of coats on this thing, and that just looks 1,000 times better. Oh my goodness, it feels super smooth. I still got a little bit right here to take care of, and a little bit on the edges. But that's where we're at right now. Glazing putty, and then sanding. And glazing putty and sanding. Alright, you're not going to watch me do the whole thing. Ain't nobody got time for that. Let's go over this real quick, like. The top's going to need a lot of help as well. It's the top. I think next time when I do this, when I do the actual helmet, I may add an extra layer to the perimeter, which makes sanding a little easier because I'm a little less worried about ripping through the shell. Again, we're just going for super thin coats. I could, at this point, thin it out with acetone, but I'm gonna have to put my respirator on. It's all the way on the other side of the table. You know what? Alright. We'll thin it out with acetone. You win. Fine. think it's sanded enough. There's a lot of texture here. This is a prototype, it's not the final one. It needs to be subdivided a few more times, smooth all that out before we get to it. But the visor, let me pull that up. That's been sanded and primed and sanded and primed. This thing, that looks fantastic. So it's also going to sit right here on the helmet. So everything that I'm unhappy with on this helmet is completely covered by the visor. So we're on to priming. Prime it a lot. I'm going to prime it, I'm going to sand it, I'm going to prime it, I'm going to sand it, you know. You know that dance? It's where we're at right now. But it's coming along. This is like 3 or 4 coats of primer. I used almost an entire can on this thing. Light sandings in between. This is still a little rough, which is fine because it has something on top of it. I'm not going to devote an unbelievable amount of time to something that's covered. But the rest of it turned out fantastic. This is ready for paint. Speaking of which, gloss white enamel. Can't get much simpler, right? Now for the visor. The visor is supposed to have this blue hue to it. So I'm going to use the Duplicolor Metal Cast, the base coat, which does a great silver, by the way. It's kind of sparkly, so it's not good for like a silver, but it's a great silver. Then I'm using the blue clear coat on top of it. Should look really interesting, and that's kind of where we are right now. So, white for the helmet, silver for the visor. Silver's done. Now we're going to do the blue. Blue, and the silver, by the way, runs quickly. Lots of light coats. It's probably going to be about 5 coats of this to get this to the depth I want. Lots of very light coats. That's where we're at. everything put together, this is where we're at. And it looks fantastic. Look at this thing. I absolutely love this. The blue, oh my goodness, the blue looks fantastic. The white looks good. All the stuff I didn't like is covered, right? All the stuff up here. There's a couple things left to do. I have to print and attach the little visor clips. We have to line it. A little bit of final weathering, because there's like decals and stuff that should be on here. I don't know if I'm doing decals or if I'm hand painting. I'm probably just hand painting. The visor's not fully attached yet, so I can take it off to do all that stuff. And then I need to make a stand for it, and then the interior. So I'm going to do it like I did with the Veritechs. I'm going to put probably the armor inside, and since it's going to have an arch, I may put a light so it shines down. I don't know yet. We're not quite there yet. But the next is the little clips and then the foam. We're going to do that next time. This video is long enough. Long form videos don't do very well. And yeah, the worse your video does, the worse the next video does. And it's a downward spiral from there. So yeah, that's about it. That's where we're at for today. We'll finish up next time. At least the helmet part of it. Maybe do something interesting. We'll see. Either way, hope to see you next time.